What are you guys saying? My name is Ashton and welcome yourselves to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you 12 tips and tricks that will help you improve in the game Enlisted. Before we start, I'd like to quickly say that I'm getting really close to 200 subscribers now, so if you do find this video useful, please consider subscribing. It only takes a moment of your time and it really helps me out. Thank you. Let's get to tip number 1. Now, the main reason you use a mounted gun is pretty simple. They shred through everything. You are about to see me kill at least 10 people in less than 8 seconds. I swear to God, these things are uncontrollably stupid. They shoot like 50 bullets per 2 seconds. So why wouldn't you use one? I guess a lot of people hesitate for the fact that you are mounted so you can't move much, but I swear down, if you get an opportunity to shred a bunch of squadrons down, take it, because it is definitely satisfying if it works out. And now for tip number 2. When you're playing a sniper role, hold back your other troops. The main reason I do this is because I was having countless situations where I was hiding within the woodlands, happily picking people off, and suddenly all my troops would start running around me like headless chickens, exposing my position. On top of this, holding your troops back guarantees you'll have soldiers to spawn to after your main character dies. And now for tip number 3. If your troop goes down and is in the process of healing, swap to another troop instead of reviving yourself. The main reason you should swap is because your AI will automatically heal themselves when you are playing as another character. On top of this, swapping to another troop guarantees better protection to your down squad than what an AI could provide. And now for tip number 4. When the game first starts, make sure that you're running away from big groups. If you're interested why, let me quickly show you. Yeah, it's fair to say that planes are very overpowered right now, and the game dev will 100% be adding time restrictions to the beginning of rounds to try and prevent this from happening. But until they do, make sure you're staying away from big groups. And now for tip number 5. Aim for the head. I know, this one's kind of an obvious one, but the main reason I'm telling you this is because of the benefits headshotting an enemy actually has. As you've probably seen, hitting a body shot on a person will knock them down into a healing stage where they can attempt to revive themselves. But if you hit a headshot on another character, they will be fully eliminated, meaning that you can put your focus on other threats. And now for tip number 6. When controlling a tank, you must always make sure that you're a good distance away from the enemy's front lines. If you don't do this, you'll find yourself getting swarmed and grenaded by foot soldiers. Once you believe you've got the perfect position, make sure that you've got the main cannon set on HE rounds. The reason you should use HE rounds is because on impact it sends shrapnel in every direction, shredding through players in a certain radius, whilst the AP rounds are made for countering tanks and would need a direct hit on the player to damage them. And now for tip number 7. If you come from a game such as Battlefield or maybe even Squad, you'll probably try and account for certain things such as bullet drop and movement velocity, but in a game such as Enlisted, the mechanics are a lot more basic than your regular first person shooters. Because of this, my advice is to only account for having your iron sight perfectly placed over the enemy. And now for tip number 8. If you get to the point where you have just unlocked the bomber pilot and also have a friend online at the same time, ask him to ping the location of the enemies. What I tend to tell my mate is to ping 3 markers close to each other so I can identify that over other markers, and after all of that, I'll do a bombing raid, turn back, reload and ask him for the next ping marker. Another tip number 9. When you have a free moment, make sure to go and pick up any weapons from the ground. I've been doing this for a little while now, and I find that after my first gun runs out of ammo, I can simply swap over and carry on the fight with ease. I've also recommend picking up different variants of weapons. For example, if your main weapon is a close to mid-range machine gun, try and pick up a long-range rifle. This way, if the battle leads into a field fight, you can be more useful with your secondary rifle. And now for tip number 10. At the end of every game, make sure that you are upgrading each of your characters. You'd be surprised at how many perks you will unlock after playing only a few games. Each perk can help support a different scenario and will increase the chance of your survival. When it comes down to which perk is better, it's actually more of a matter of personal preference, so my advice would be to rotate the perks and get an understanding of what works best for you. And now we're on to tip number 11. Always try and account for your surroundings. This is a great example of what not to do with your surroundings. Right, so from this example, I now know that if I'm going to be holding the stairwell, I actually might as well be at the top of the stairwell away from the windows. That way, I know that my positioning is good, I know from the position they'll be coming from, and on top of that, my surroundings are more limited, meaning that I should be all good and focused onto one thing. And lastly, tip number 12. I cannot stress how important your movement is within this game. Enlisted is very fast and relies best on constant movement and reaction speeds, so when you next log into a game, make sure that you're constantly moving your character at fast, reliable speeds. After killing one soldier, rotate yourself. After killing the second one through the doorway, run around the building and jump through the window. Being constantly on the move makes you unpredictable and very, very hard to kill. My name's been Ashton. Thank you very much for getting to the end of the video. If you did find this helpful, please make sure to subscribe and comment down below. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.